Hello, this is David. Welcome to Part 2, Topic 6, Christopher Culp's Chapter 12 on credit derivatives and credit-linked notes. The first learning outcome asks us to describe the mechanics of a single-named credit default swap. Single-named means that there's just a single reference asset as opposed to a basket. So the other kind of CDS would be a basket CDS. In the case of a single-name credit default swap, what we have is a bilateral derivatives contract, a credit derivatives contract between two counterparties. And so we have here on the one hand a credit protection buyer who is taking a position with a credit protection seller. The CDS is economically similar to insurance, but is technically not insurance. So the credit protection buyer, notice here, is making, in this case, spread payments to the credit protection seller. So this is analogous to insurance premiums. The credit protection buyer will make a series of spread payments, the CDS spread, or a single upfront fixed payment, or a combination of both, which is to say, an upfront payment plus a series of payments. Now notice this solid line here. These payments, we call them payments in the model, are certain. The credit protection buyer is going to make them, unless of course they default. But the counterparty risk here is much less than on the other side. So these payments are certain and known. The credit protection buyer is making them in exchange for what? In exchange for contingent payoff. Credit protection buyer makes payments in exchange for contingent payoff, so that the credit protection seller may or may not be making this payoff to the buyer. It depends on whether there is a credit event, most typically a default, but there are other types of credit events. So the credit protection buyer is in an economic manner purchasing insurance on whether there is default on the reference asset. If that event does happen, the credit event, then they'll receive the contingent payoff from the credit protection seller. So you can see how the credit protection seller is economically